This is a new YouTube channel that will be going out on YouTube and TikTok and Facebook and all that. And we're going to be talking about stories of a holiday rep. I'm here with Dean.
Hi guys.
We both started our careers out in Spain. We're still in Spain as holiday reps, some 24 years.
24 years
ago.
Old.
And we just thought the other day, we were sat here the other day for a couple of hours and we were just chatting over a bit, weren't we?
Reminiscing
about being a holiday rep and how different it is now compared to how it was when we did it, and also like how different it was even before then. And particularly some of the stories that have come out in from the years that we did it, and being over in lovely destinations where people normally come on holiday, was where we lived. So we thought we'd put together this YouTube channel of every week we'll be doing a video about different elements of being a holiday rep, working with the big tour operators, specifically from the UK, different types of repping, whether it be ski, summer sun, and then all the different elements from like cabarets to transfers to, all the different.
But then also we'll get stories from you guys about what your experiences were, because we've only got a few that we can tell, but we want to hear your stuff as well from different locations that we didn't work in, because we predominantly did Spain, and you've got the guys that were in Greece all the time, and Turkey,
always a big difference,
the Caribbean, people that rep the Maldives. There's so many different variations of what we all experienced, and we just want to hear from everyone, really.
And I want to see some of the stories from like the 80s, from the golden age of like Club 1830.
They're going to be so different compared to what we experienced. We'd already said that. What we experienced to what the guys in Club in the 90s were experiencing was completely different to what we did. Very.
Yeah, the things you get away with that you just wouldn't get away with now. I mean, we both still work in the travel industry, and obviously, very different roles now, more professional roles, I'd say. But yeah, going back, it's still, I think it's some of those stories that I don't know about you, but certainly when I talk about it to friends that have never done it, they were like just unbelievable. They didn't believe any of it.
No, they're gobsmacked. I mean, some of my friends didn't even believe that I was possible to even do some of the stuff that they'd heard.
Yeah.
Whatever, they didn't think it was in me.
Yeah.
But I think the job brought the best out of you.
So what made you get into it?
It was complete fluke. I was 20. No, it wasn't even 20 at the time. I was 19. Went on holiday to Zante.
Right.
And I was working at Sainsbury's. It just wasn't. I'd quit college. It just wasn't. It wasn't for me. Went on holiday to Zante with a couple of mates, and it was the first real holiday where you come out of the airport and you got your rep there. They get you on the bus, take you to a com.
Yeah.
So it was my first experience of that
package holiday,
if you like. And we went down to the welcome meeting, as you do.
Yeah.
Because they said you needed to bring your insurance papers.
Yeah. That old chestnut.
Old chestnut. I was employed to get you down to the welcome meeting so I could sell to you, which I didn't know at the time. It was only later down the line you realise. And then we booked a few excursions. Went out with the reps.
So what year was this?
This was 99.
Oh, right, okay.
1999. So we did the bar crawl, 2 weeks on the trot. We did the reps cabaret night, and had a great time. And then at the end of the holiday, on the transfer bus back to the airport, the rep was telling us, because it was a sunset holiday.
Yeah.
They were telling us about this whole new amalgamation of companies that were coming together to create this brand new package holiday company.
Yeah.
Which was going to be JMC.
Yeah.
And they said that, we're looking for people to apply. We're looking for new reps for the summer, loads of new destinations opening up. And I just thought to myself, you know what? Why not? What have I got to lose?
Yeah.
I'm not enjoying where I am.
Yeah.
They all seem to be having fun. And I enjoyed every moment of what they were doing when I was around them and those activities. So I just got home. I filled out the application form, or I got it in the post. I filled it out, and that was it. That was for me. That was my reason.
Yeah.
For wanting to do it. I wasn't happy, and I saw all these people enjoying themselves all around my age, or a little bit older, and I thought I could do this.
Yeah.
So I thought, why not?
I was slightly different. I mean, I was boarding school, and I'd been living in a flat for college years, and the last thing I wanted to do was go and basically to uni and live with a bunch of people that had just started first time living on their own, and I'd sort of done in my first year all the, the partying and drinking. The second year, I wanted to keep that nice, and I'd grown up with the industry. My stepdad worked. He was director of Club 1830, so it was kind of we knew about it, and
It was in you.
it was.
You already had
But
an idea.
at the school, you did your GCSEs, you did your A levels, you did your Yuccas form, and go to uni. And I turned around and went, no, I'm going to go and work overseas. But the other thing is, I always had I wanted to move to Spain. I grew up with Spain, and it was just right. 18 years old, bang, I'm out of here, sort of thing. 3 days out of school. In fact, I didn't do the training.
So you did it at 18?
Yeah. Yeah, I was 18. I was the
What year
youngest.
was that?
2000.
2000. 18.
Yeah, July 2000. I was in. So I did the interview in Birmingham, and travelled up on the train, did this interview, and I was too young to be a mainline rep, so I had to be a kids rep.
Kids rep.
So I got into this. We're in this hotel in Birmingham, and walked in, didn't know what to expect. Although I've been on some of the training courses when I was growing up,
like a tag along.
No, basically, my family was in the industry, so I was often at these things anyway, and so I knew it would all be a bit sort of hectic. And got in there, and there was 54 people in there. 50 of them were women, and 2 of the 4 guys were gay. So I thought, I'm on for a good summer here. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I did the interview a couple of weeks later, and the interview was like, they just wanted to see how you presented yourself, and so they give you sort of random tasks to do, and sing a song or come up with
I remember mine. It was in Reading.
All right, yeah.
Down on the train on my own. I remember it said smart casual.
Yeah.
On the interview form. So, I turned up, and again, there was 50 odd people there, majority women. Lads are all suited and booted. Girls are all smart. I've turned up in jeans and a jumper.
Yeah.
And the only person that's not wearing a suit, I'm like, I've really read this wrong. I thought there's no chance I'm getting through this. And it was a similar thing. Giving you a load of tasks. I think we had to make up like an advert for this like random thing. So they gave us a product to sell, a word that we had to get into the advert, a tune that we had to use in the back of it, and then something else. We had to make this advert up for it. And then there was some other group tasks, and then there's the one-on-ones at the end. And then once you're one-on-one done, you're out the door. But it was a good 5 hours.
I did my one-on-one in Spanish because I did A-level Spanish.
Did you?
And the guy turned around and started reading all this, and I wasn't that good at Spanish then. I blagged the hell out of it, and managed to get it. But then, what was it, about 2 weeks later, I've got a phone call, right, you're off to Menorca.
So you knew straight away where you were going?
Knew straight away, because I didn't do the training, because the training had all, I didn't finish school, and there was no way I was missing it. I know we were in A-levels and stuff like that, and, come out early, but I've been at this school since I was like 6 years old, and all my friends were there, all the parties that finished. There was no way I was missing it. And I think I had a sports tournament or something to go to. So I ended up going out after about 4 days after the training finished or something, second night training. And I missed all of that. Apparently training was pretty good fun. And,
it was. So I was the first set of interviews for this whole new JMC thing, which is obviously the same you started.
I started with JMC, yeah.
And they did the interviews in January, and then I got a letter in the post 2 days after the interview.
Right.
Saying, congratulations, you got the job.
Okay.
And that there'd be a follow-up letter to say when the training was going to start.
Yeah.
And the training started in early March.
Yeah.
And it was in Liverpool.
Yeah.
So the day came, and Mum and Dad dropped me off at London in the train station, thinking to himself, I've got to go all the way to Liverpool now and not know anyone.
Yeah.
And then make new friends or try and get to know people. But there was a big collection of people at the train station with massive suitcases, all getting seen off by their parents and family. And you just knew that you were all there for the same reason.
Yeah.
And then we all sat together in the train on the way up. So you've instantly,
you're all nervous with each other.
We're all there for the same reason. We all clung towards each other.
Yeah, yeah.
And we already had a little friend group before we turned up at the Adelphi Hotel.
Yeah, yeah.
Which was on that Hotel Horrors or whatever it was.
Right.
Massive hotel. Come in, sign in, and it was 7 days.
Really?
In the Adelphi. Yeah. 7 days in the Adelphi. and there must have been about 120 people on this training course, and they split us up into different classes and whatnot. And then at the end of the 7 days, they said, right, this half of you are going to Portugal, and this half of you are going to Gran Canaria for the other half of your training. So the Portugal guys knew they were going to Portugal. That was it. They were in the Algarve. But for us, we're going to Gran Canaria. But from there, we were then all going to get splintered off into loads of different locations. And it was only when we got there and a couple of days in, we started to realise where we might be going. Because we then did more training. But the people that were assessing us were the gateway managers for the locations that were looking for staff. So there was the Gran Canaria, manager for Tenerife, Benidorm, Costa del Sol, Lanzarote. All the places that were open already. Which, unbeknown to me, again, not knowing anything about it.
Did you have any, like, I'd want to go to, like, everybody, because everybody said, like, I want to go to Ibiza, I want to go to Ibiza.
Yeah. And there wasn't so much of that because everyone knew that they were going out in March. So anyone who knew Ibiza knew that it wasn't open or anything like that. But no, at first I didn't have an inkling about where I wanted to go. But as the days went on, the people that I gravitated towards and that circle of friends, they all started talking more about Benidorm. I'd never been to Benidorm, so I didn't know. But because I liked them and they were my friends, I thought, what that, mate, I'd like to go to Benidorm. Well, I didn't. I ended up in the Costa del Sol. So and you don't know where you're going until there's this big presentation at the end. And they call you all out and say, right, you guys are all going to the Costa del Sol. And I was like, oh, where's that?
Just to point everybody else, we actually live just outside of Benidorm.
Yes. I did make it to Benidorm in the end. I was like, oh, this is how green I was. I didn't know anything. I didn't know locations or anything. I didn't know what was in the Costa del Sol. Right. And on stage was me and 13 women, female reps that were all going there. I was the one guy, and the Benidorm lot had already been up, and it was a right mixture. It was 50-50. So I was like thinking to myself, well, okay, so I've got no guys to go there with. I don't know where I'm going. This is all a bit, overwhelming. And then when I got there, I realised I'd actually been there before. I realised I'd been there. So we got there. We had to do another 2 weeks of training. So
really?
It was like literally, it was a month's worth of training that we did before they put us in a unit and gave us customers, let us loose. So another 2 weeks, going on activities, learning liquidation, the resort. You had to learn the resort. I mean, the Costa del Sol stretched from Nerca all the way down to Estepona. I mean, it's a good 120 kilometers. So that's why they needed so many people down there, because you were spread out. They had 3 reps living down in Nerca, which was a 40-minute drive away from the office. Torremolinos, which is where they based themselves. Benalmádena was 10 minutes down the road on the bus. Fuengirola after that, and then through to Marbella, and then on to Estepona. So it was an eye-opener. And then when we went to Marbella to have a look around, I was like, I've stayed in this hotel. So I was like, oh, all right, I didn't know where I was going, but I've actually stayed here before.
See, I got Menorca, and I think at 18 years old, I didn't quite know what to expect. I didn't actually want Ibiza. I didn't want that high Club 1830 sort of style. I mean, it was JMC. And, I turned up in Menorca, I mean, halfway through the season, it was July. So didn't know what to expect, and especially I'd never been on a package holiday before. I'd never been in a kids club before. Never worked with kids before. And suddenly I'm out there, and the next day I'm, looking after 8 and 9 year olds and in the sun. In fact, I think the first I got there, what was it? I don't know, Friday afternoon or whatever it was. And of course, by that season's going, the bars were open, everything. So meet up with a load of the reps, and we had generally reps accommodation was terrible, but we had,
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Some
I was very, very lucky, I'll be honest, all the way through.
I'm glad you were, because I wasn't.
Oh, no, I was in Menorca. We got this whole complex. There was 10 2-bedroom bungalows all around our own private pool.
So you all lived together?
All lived together.
Oh, well, that doesn't sound that bad.
So generally, most people had, I think a few people shared rooms. So there might be 3 people in a bungalow. I didn't share a room first year. But I mean, look, we had these great bungalows, and It was in a tiny little place called Callum Forcat, which had half a dozen bars, and we all met up in a place called Blue Breeze. And
was that the Reps bar?
That was the Reps bar, and we all met up there. And my head rep at the time, she sort of looked at me. I think it got to about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. She goes, "There's no way you're getting up in the morning." And by that time, everybody was drinking vodka Red Bulls, and yeah, I'll be fine. Yeah, no problem. Next morning, bang, 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 on the door. Oh, shit! You know, she's at the door, and she, bless her, she didn't have the odds to like real bollock me. She was like, "Told you wouldn't be up, but got to give you a verbal warning. I've not been here 24 hours yet." And then,
see, there's something you missed out on the training course, because on the training course, it sort of implied go hard,
yeah,
but be up.
Yeah,
it was to sort of teach you that when you're there in resort,
yeah,
you're going to party hard, but you've still got to get up in the morning and
absolutely
do your work. So
absolutely.
Your training day started at 9 in the morning, and if you didn't get in from the hotel bar, because they didn't shut the hotel bar.
No,
hotel bar was open until 4 in the morning if you wanted it.
Yep.
And it was to encourage you to enjoy yourself, but learn it comes with consequences.
Yeah, until you were a bit more experienced and knew how to deal with it if you were late. So, like, you know, plenty of times when I've walked in and gone, I shouldn't be talking to any guests.
Well, we'll get to that. That'll come at a later date. There's quite a few stories about that one, and I'm sure there's going to be a few coming to us.
There will be, and obviously we've got plenty that. So we also run a group, Stories of a Holiday Rep. It's got 18,000 ex-holiday reps on. It's been running for about 5 years, so we're hoping to get quite a few stories from you guys, if you're watching. And but you know, for today, I think for today's purpose, obviously, you know, we've discussed about getting into it, what made his first day, sort of thing. But I remember going back after that first season, and there was always like your 2 or 3 stories that, you know, sprang to mind. Some, well, what was it like then? What was it like then?
I feel like you came back as a different person as well.
Completely.
You know, the person that left
Yeah.
wasn't the person that came home.
Yeah.
Because of what you experienced.
Yeah.
Your friends were like, my God, what happened to you?
Yeah. And they were all the same, still just out on Friday night and this and the other.
Even now, 24 years later, they still are.
Yeah. Yeah. I was, you know, in the nightclubs, you know, going back to, I would live in Taunton, all my friends were there. You know, and it's like going into nightclubs and chatting up women and having a drink and dancing and stuff like that. And they were like, who are you?
I definitely came back with so much more confidence than when I left, because in my friend group, I was probably the most quiet out of all of them, you know, because they were all really loud characters. And when I came back, it was the role reversal.
Yeah.
I was the loud one, and they were all like, what's happened to you? I was like, mate, maybe this is what I needed.
Yeah.
I needed this to become me, to find who I was.
I saw so many people over the years that came out shy, insular, and suddenly within 3 or 4 weeks, because you were just thrown into it. There was no.
Well, you seem to be. I had 4 weeks worth of training.
You had 4 weeks worth. Yeah, but even in training, I'm sure you were just like, right, you got to go up on stage and do this sort of thing, or you got to do that. And
public speaking, it was new to me.
Yeah,
I'd never had to do it before. You know, not even a celebration, a family celebration or anything. Never get up and speak to everyone in a room, but suddenly you're speaking on a coach with a microphone, telling people about the resort, what they need to do. You're stood up in front of 100 people in a welcome meeting. You know, it's completely out of character.
Yeah.
For an 18 or 20-year-old that's worked in a supermarket or that's just come out of you know, boarding school, it's completely out there.
Yeah.
That's instantly going to change how you see things and bring a confidence out in you that
and you were spotted. If you couldn't do it, you were spotted quick enough and bye sort of thing. I've seen that a few times as well.
And then there's the cabaret that brought it out of you as well. I mean, having to dress up as a woman, for example, and prance around on stage, or
you got to stop doing that.
I'm trying to reduce it to Saturday nights only. You know, but the stuff that you had to do on the cabaret, that in itself brought even the shyest of people out of their comfort zone, and they did it, and I feel like it made us all better people.
Oh, absolutely. I love the cabaret. I worked out in the first season, the more stuff you did in the cabaret, less work you had to do that night.
Yeah, it's very true.
Brilliant.
Yeah, you know, you're not around serving the food or serving
not
jugs,
having to do anything. It was
great.
Always
people.
Backstage, dun. It was you just don't have those things anymore. You know, it's a shame.
But that's like you say. You just said that then. We don't have those things anymore.
No,
like when we did this 24 years ago in the early noughties, compared to what it is now, it's a completely different job.
Yeah.
It does, but to be fair, that job doesn't exist anymore.
That exact same type of job. I mean, you still get holiday reps, you know, big ones, Jet2, TUI, they've still got reps, but they're now employed in resort because of Brexit. So it's much, unfortunately, it's much more difficult for people to come over. Same in ski, a lot of them employed in resort, often different nationalities, you know, to do the job. And, you know, they're paid, you know, decent salaries compared to what we, I mean, what were you on for when you started?
Oh, God. £325 a month.
Yep.
My accommodation was paid for, and we did speak briefly about how sparse the accommodation was. Now, I had a lovely apartment, right? It was on the 21st floor of a tower block looking straight out over Torremolinos Beach.
Yeah.
And my first unit was over the road, right? The view was amazing, but there was nothing in it.
Yeah.
Nothing. It was the largest apartment I've ever had in my life. And there was a bed in the bedroom. That was it.
Yeah.
No drawers, no nothing. Built-in wardrobe without a rail. There was a TV stand with no TV.
Yeah.
And the worst L-shaped sofa you've ever seen in your life. You sit down on it and the wood was poking you in the butt.
Like that pine Spanish furniture.
No, it was worse than that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, that would have been comfortable. It was horrendous. You couldn't even lay on it and have a nap.
Yeah.
Because you were curled up round on it. It was like a horseshoe.
Yeah.
It wasn't even L-shaped. It was a horseshoe. And all the stuffing had gone out of it, and a dining table. But this is in a room that was probably, I'd say, about 20 square meters.
Yeah.
There was nothing in it.
Yeah.
It was sparse. And there was 3 of us living in there. And one of the bedrooms was the balcony turned into a hot box.
Yeah.
They just put some glass windows in, and it was like a sauna in the summer.
We were pretty sparse. I mean, every rep knew how to light a cigarette off the toaster. You know, you had no kitchens. The kitchen was like one tiny little hot plate.
We used to get electrocuted when we take our washing out of the washing machine.
I still do it.
It was on the balcony. You go out there with no shoes on, get your washing out, and you get zapped. You learn very quickly to put flip flops on or something.
Yeah. But I remember when I came to Benidorm, I'd done 2 summer seasons repping then, and the second season was March till the end. And when I came to Benidorm, it was mid-winter season, and because I'd gone back to UK, and after I lasted about a week before I was on the phone to Thomas Cook going, get me somewhere, anywhere for winter. Get me somewhere. And we came round to Benidorm. In fact, my mum was living in France at the time, so we stopped there. And I said, I'm not doing that again. So we packed the car absolutely full of TV, stereo, duvets, all this sort of stuff.
You turned up prepared.
Turned up right prepared. Yeah. It was, and then we had, again, I was in a couple at the time. So instead of staying in the old town of Benidorm, which Thunder Road or something, I think it was called, above the apartments.
The Beniarda.
Something like that. It was like, they were horrible. Because we were in a couple, we got into Torre Don Benito, which was
the one above the clinics.
Yeah. Which were on the 13th floor, 11th floor, or something like that.
They were round, weren't they?
Beautiful, massive apartments.
Like living in a donut.
Yeah, they were lovely. But the guys that were staying there already, Ali and Lisa, again, you know, it was a massive apartment with nothing in it. So I've turned up, stereo, all this sort of stuff, and Ali was like, "We've got like a proper house. This is like, yeah." It was just stupid things that made little creature comforts, but yeah, but it was an experience to be had. I mean, go on then. Have you got any like standout stories that, you know, were your main ones? Even like to these days, when people ask you what was it like?
I think there's lots, but if I'm going to think about stuff in the first year that as a 20-year-old you don't expect to have to deal with, especially say like 2-3 months into the job. I remember there was a bombing in Fuengirola, of ETA.
Yeah.
They blew up the side of one of the buildings down there.
Yeah.
We had guests in there. I mean, I wasn't a Fuengirola rep then. I was in Torremolinos, but you know, you still have to get involved in what's going on. And for a 20-year-old not to understand the politics of what's going on in Spain either, I don't think it really sunk in what had happened or why. But I remember that, and I suppose the most the thing that makes you grow up quite quickly is if you have to deal with someone who's died in resort.
Yeah, big time.
And that happened to me literally. I think it was within 2 months.
Oh wow!
Of being there. I remember the hotel. I can't remember the name of the clients, but I remember the walk down the corridor. To the room. To see the wife and you know, the body's still there.
Yeah.
You know, it's quite eye-opening.
Yeah, big time.
And makes you realise that you're not just here for fun.
Yeah.
You know, as fun as everything was, the job was serious.
Yep.
You know, obviously you were there to deal with the customers for their enjoyment, but you were there in case they had problems.
Yeah.
You were there to help them when they had issues, but you don't expect it to be you that it happens to.
You don't know what sort of issues you're going to have to deal with. And I mean, I remember it wasn't my first season; it was second season. There was a coach strike in the Balearic Islands, and we weren't sure until the night before if it was going to happen or not. So we'd worked from that morning, the night before, 8 o'clock in the morning, like, you know, normally up in the hotels. Then I had all day, and then we had transfers that night. So I didn't get back into resort till about midnight. And my head rep was there, and he said, "Look, it's been confirmed the coach strikes are going ahead. Okay, what do we do?" And, you know, so we had about 1,400 people in resort that there was going to be no coaches for to get back to that, you know, get to the airport. And the air was 45-minute transfer.
They're not going to wait the planes just because the coach drivers aren't on board.
So he was like, "Look, a few of us are staying up. We've got to be in our hotels for 5 a.m. We're going to stay up, have some food, and, you know, just chill out and watch a movie, and then we'll go early in the morning," which we did. And so the first hotel I went up to, and it was like apart hotel sort of thing, and the guests were there, and they said, "Oh, we've got a car hire with Avis." So I said, "Okay, I think you might have to drive to the airport and drop the car off." And so I phoned the head rep. He said, "Look, get in that car. If you can get in that car, get in it." So, like 19 at the time, and said, "Look, I've got to get to the airport. We'll sort out the car for you, but we've got a big issue in resort at the moment. We need as many cars as possible so we can get all the guests to the airport. Would you mind if I come with you, and then I'll take the car off you?" And they booked the car through us. We had a deal with Avis and this, that, and the other. Yeah, no problem. So I walked outside, and I saw they had a Renault keyring. I remember this. And there was 2 cars. There was a Renault Clio, battered Renault Clio, and then a brand new Renault Megane Sport. Do you remember them? They had tiny little back seats. And
is that the one with the bump?
No, it was before that. It was like the curvy shaped. Oh, 19 years old. They were like, yeah, I'd love to drive.
I don't know why I'm picturing a yellow one.
Anyway, walked out, split the button to sports, a bit up. Yes, get in. So we stole that morning 14 cars from resort, right? And I'm not joking. We were going into hotels.
And you had 14 cars, but you had 1,400 people in resort.
Yeah. Right?
It's a lot of runs.
It's a lot of runs, right? But we were stealing cars left, right, and centre. Going into the hotels, cracking up, you know where people put the keys to drop off, cracking those open, walking out, getting the reps were driving. You know, we just got the cars. Without asking Avis, none of us were. I mean, we probably weren't even insured. I mean, we weren't insured on these things. We had the guys that did all the scuba diving. They had a couple of vans, so they helped out. We were just doing back and forwards. And the first day, I did a 36-hour shift in total. And there was a 13-hour queue in the airport for taxis. Right?
For people that just arrived?
People that just arrived, going round and round, right? So we did, during the day, back and forwards in this car. And, you know, I mean, it got to the point where I was like so tired. I was saying to the guests, "Sorry, this is happening," but...
How long was the transfer?
45 minutes.
45 minutes?
Yeah. I mean, we knocked it down to about 35.
Yeah, you're going to drive quicker than a bus would, but still.
But it was, it was just one big road. There was no speed cameras or anything. I was telling the guests that, "I'm really sorry, but just anybody mind if I smoke while I'm driving," sort of thing. Just keep me awake, sort of, you know. There was even one rep who literally turned up 2 days before, somebody driving a 7-seater little not a minibus, but, you know, like those Renault Espace sort of thing, something like that. She on the way back, empty, she rolled it down the side of the bank, fell asleep.
Oh, Jesus.
And then the evening, 10 o'clock, we got to the airport, and they said, "Right, we need you in the airport now." And it was only us, which was JMC, and the Virgin reps that stayed in the airport. Everyone else did one. You know, they were like, get out. I mean, there were thousands of people in the airport. No flights, nothing. What's going on? We had all the kids reps there handing out water, doing games, all this sort of stuff. I was a mainline rep by that time. And we were having to go into the airport in the cars in plain clothes because we knew the bus drivers. They knew us. So, you know, I remember one of my mates, really tall lad, you know, they had to drive through the picket line of all the coach drivers. They surrounded the coach, you know, guests in the back as well. And he got out, and they just went, oh, no problem. So we did the whole night in the airport. Got home, had a couple of hours kit, did it all again, and it lasted for 3 days.
The chaos that just some coach drivers choosing not to go to work for the day, that it can cause.
Yeah.
That specific day that they chose, that airport day.
Yeah.
And the chaos, not just for you, but for the client, for customers, people leaving, people coming in.
It was insane, absolutely insane. And we got rewarded for it. We got an extra half day off.
Oh, that's all right. You just worked a 36-hour shift.
Yeah.
The least they could do was give you the morning off to catch up on your sleep.
Exactly. But you know, those I think what you've said about the deaths and stuff like that, and the coach strikes, you kind of just dealt with it. And after it, when it all finished, it was like that was a rush. You know, that was a rush. But then, you know, you get the serious stories and you get the funny stories as well. You know, and I think, I mean, there was so many. There was such a, from where I worked, Minorca and Benidorm, you know, it's such a contrast in the difference of type of people. You know, what I've gone from families, you know, spent a little bit more on their holiday, to Benidorm, which was bloody hell. This is like, you know, and I think it was the first person I saw. Welcome to Benidorm. You're going to make no money here on comms. Everybody walks into your welcome meeting, if they even do. They've been here more times than, you know, you. And yeah, you're just going to be. I was like, damn, what have I come here for?
Yeah.
But the stories, and even to this day, you know, if somebody mentions something that's happened in Benidorm, it's not a surprise. You know, it's the stuff that goes on. I mean,
it still does. It
still does, and it's the different age groups. And I mean, the one that always stood out for me, I was in a 4-star all-inclusive Flamingo Oasis hotel, and these two lads walked in, must have been 18, 19-year-old max. Parents had obviously paid for it all, and they were a bit sheepish, to say the least. And they said, okay, well, what sort of things can we do? So, oh, come out on bar crawl with us. And that was the heyday when we were taking 200 people on a bar crawl, and you know, you'd have bar crawls from JMC, you'd have bar crawls from TUI, Air Tours, all on, you know, having a right laugh in town. So I said, look, we don't normally pick up from here, but I'll come and get you, you know. And so I went and got these two guys, and we had, you know, the normal games in the first bar, and then into another bar, and then by the third bar, by this time we're in the middle of the square, I lost them. Couldn't find them. And there's probably, you know, we've got 5 reps and we've got 200 people to look after. I can't go off and hunt for them. So anyway, let it go. Next morning, in the hotel at the desk, and just getting on with probably not getting on with paperwork, probably trying to just catch a sleep. But the two of them came up. Oh, what did you two get up to last night? I've lost you in Bahamas, you know. Where'd you go? We had a bit of an issue. Okay, you never came and told me, sort of thing. You know, no, we had to just get out of there. Okay, what happened? Well, I copped off with this girl. I was like, right, okay. And she pulled me into the girls' toilets. Okay, but I knew she had a boyfriend outside. I was like, right, is this the problem then? No, that's not the problem. So she's gone in the cubicle, right, and started doing stuff. Okay, and then she straddled me. Like, okay, had a good night. And she went, no, her leg fell off. Just the way he said it, I have hit the floor with this, right? I've just gone down, I'm wetting myself, and they were so serious. And
I don't know why I'm thinking in my head, was it left or the right?
I've no idea. Mate, I'm creased up on the floor by this time. And the two, by the time I was talking, I was like, what did you do? You know, what did you do? We ran. We just got out of there. I didn't know what to do. We just ran. Oh my God. And I swear, I'm like, they were there for a week. They did not leave the hotel again.
You know? I'd be slightly traumatised by that as well.
It was unbelievable.
You think you know where the stories go when like the boyfriend's outside. Oh, he's obviously knocked on the door. No,
Yeah.
a leg fell off.
Yeah, and I mean honestly, it was just I can picture it now. These two young lads. Sorry if you're out there and you're watching. It was you, but it was.
Sorry if you was
yeah,
your leg
you've
fell
given
off.
me enough stories for to last a few years now. So no, it was the stories are. And listen, I think what we've done, we're chatting for 35 minutes now. So I think as we carry on this and subscribe to the channel, hit that button at the bottom. We'll be coming back every week with different stories, whether it be about cabaret, transfers, different destinations, like I say, Greece and Spain.
You guys for your stories about funny things that have happened, stories like the one that Sam's just told with the leg, serious stories. We'll cover a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think it's important to remember what we've done.
Yeah.
And where we've come from and what's helped us get to the point that we're at now.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't exist anymore. And I think.
Damn you, internet and Brexit.
Yeah. Internet holidays have taken away the repping, so our kids will never experience it.
No.
Or anything like that.
It's still out there in ways that, I think the ski destinations probably would still, to this day, have a lot of fun.
I did ski, and the après ski and the evening entertainment and stuff that you used to do, I'm sure they still have a lot of that.
Yeah.
A lot of that going on.
Maybe cruising to a certain extent.
Yeah, but those days of, I'd say, bar crawls twice a week, night flights,
reps cabaret,
those types selling. I mean, I'm pretty sure that you don't do welcome meetings these days if you're working for the likes of Jet2 or TUI probably anymore.
They do, but they're not.
You're not selling like we used to.
No, we were banging on the doors in the morning. Yeah.
Hard selling with the customers. Like, make sure you stay.
Oh, the welcome meeting stories are coming. The welcome meeting stories are going to be brilliant. But it's, I'm sure we'll get a lot from you guys as well. Send them in. We'll be putting up something on the web and putting a link below where you can send some of your stories.
Yeah, there's 18,000 of you on Stories of a Holiday Rep.
Yeah.
There's going to be some good content.
We hope so.
From you guys.
There'll be some good content
along the way with this.
Some funny stories that are completely different from the normal stories that are on TikTok and Instagram, whatever you guys are watching now. That I think are rejuvenated and recycled into different ways. Yeah, this is fresh. So
it might even bring some memories back.
Yeah. Were you one of the people that met the reps in resort?
God. I didn't think about that.
How many kids are out there?
That could be a can of worms.
That could be, couldn't it? It's So I think today leave it there. Make sure you subscribe, and then
more to come.
More to come next week. Super.